This video will review two scholars who have put forth research that suggests we are headed into a Jubilee year. Perhaps you have heard of Jonathan Cahn and Mark Biltz, both of whom suggest 2015 is the beginning of a Jubilee year. Since their work has been covered extensively on other channels, I will not be covering it in this video. Instead, I will be presenting two additional Bible researchers, chronologists, and Bible code experts who have suggested that 2015 is the year. One of these suggested that not only is 2015 the year of Jubilee, but it is the year of the 70th Jubilee since the Israelites entered the Promised Land. Quite literally, we may be entering the Sabbath of the Sabbaths of the Sabbaths, or the 70th Jubilee, on September 23, 2015. The first of these researchers is Bonnie Gaunt, who published 15 books on gematria, Bible codes, sacred geometry, and sacred architecture. Gaunt believed that Satan had hijacked these studies and that it was the duty of Christians to understand these things. Before passing away, Gaunt had studied and written for over 40 years, although her work is almost unheard of when compared to other popular evangelical figures. Gaunt was interested in chronology, and she studied and produced a rational timeline for the coming events of the Jubilee, which she believed would begin in September 2015 and continue into 2016. Gaunt's timeline for the Jubilee years starts in 535 through 534, when she believed a bulk of Jews exiled by the Babylonian Empire were restored to the Holy Land. The second Bible researcher and chronologist, Nora Roth, also arrives at September 23, 2015 as the beginning of the Jubilee year. According to Roth, this is no ordinary Jubilee, but a very, very special 70th Jubilee year, and she arrived at this conclusion using an entirely different methodology than Bonnie Gaunt. Nora Roth believed that the first Jubilee should be dated to 1367 BC, after the Israelites' desert wanderings and entry into the Promised Land. Nora Roth counts 49 prophetic years until each Jubilee and arrives at September 23, 2015 as the beginning of the 70th Jubilee, a stunning conclusion considering that her theory is based on historical data that dates the beginning of the Israelites' desert wanderings to 1456, followed by their entry into the Promised Land in 1416. This would mean the first Jubilee, the celebration of when the Israelites were set free, would begin in 1367. Although both Bonnie Gaunt and Nora Roth used different approaches, they arrived at the same date for the 70th Jubilee. The only difference is that Gaunt began her count at the time of the return of the exiles. Modern events from the prior two Jubilees seem to indicate that we are entering a very special Jubilee in September 2015. It is important to study world events during this time in order to understand what is coming in the 70th Jubilee. In 1917, the Balfour Declaration was made by Great Britain, which expressed support of the British Empire and more broadly the West for the Jewish state. This declaration was less than a month after the October 1917 delusion at Fatima, which also occurred during a Jubilee year. During the 69th Jubilee, the Israeli Defense Forces recaptured Jerusalem on June 7, 1967, which was the only event that would allow Sir Isaac Newton's September 23, 2015 prophecy to be fully understood. Without Israel recapturing Jerusalem, Isaac Newton's prophecy could not be understood. As with the UFO deception at Fatima, 1967, or the 69th Jubilee year, is regarded by UFO organizations as one of the most active years in recorded history for sightings. I believe there is a strong correlation between the UFO deception and the year of Jubilee based on the prior two Jubilees. We know literally millions of Muslims will gather together in Mecca and will wait for the gates of heaven to open. Might a deception unlike anything the world has ever seen be coming on the Day of Atonement in 2015? Pope Francis will be speaking from the White House on September 23, 2015, from the U.S. Capitol on September 24, 2015, and in front of the 70th UN General Assembly on September 25, 2015. His top astronomers at the Vatican Observatory, Gabriel Funes and Brother Guy Consolmagno, have publicly acknowledged that the Church will embrace the alien as a brother, and they will embrace and baptize the alien race, that the Nephilim are sons of God and will be brought back into the sheepfold, and even that Jesus is a star child.
Now, what does he say in the book? When I ask him, about those Catholic Church scholars that are talking about these aliens being morally superior to us, and I said, where could you find an example of that in the Bible? And guess what? He points me to Genesis chapter 6, and he talks about the Nephilim and those fallen watchers, but he doesn't call them fallen. He refers to them as those who are more intelligent than we are, coming here from another world, and he compares them to aliens. I was astonished by that, and he also does that in his book. It's absolutely demonic, but he uses that as an example of those who might come to the earth again in the future who would be more intelligent than we are and capable of providing a greater revelation of God. So I found that to be just absolutely astonishing, right? So then I pressed him on that question, and he said, Tom, he said, have you not read John 10:16, another sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. And he breaks that down. He does this in his book, Intelligent Life in the Universe, which again, if people need proof, I'll email it to them. He uses that to say, they shall hear my voice. Okay, they're closer to God than we are. They're going to come here, give us a better revelation, and we're all going to be one fold and one shepherd. So he sees what we would call the second coming is basically an alien armada with their leader coming to say, I've been here once before. We're all going to be one fold and one shepherd. So he sees what we would call the second coming is basically an alien armada with their leader coming to say, I've been here once before. So he sees what we would call the second coming is basically an alien armada with their leader coming to say, I've been here once before.
It perhaps is a bit ironic that the year of the 70th Jubilee is intersecting the 70th UN General Assembly, the 70th anniversary in which the U.S. formally entered the UN, the 70th anniversary of the U.S. Congress calling for unrestricted Jewish immigration to Palestine, the 70th anniversary of the greatest nuclear strikes in history carried out on large populations of Christians in Japan, the month of the 70th anniversary of World War II, when the Japanese formally surrendered and 33rd degree Freemason Harry Truman declared victory, which could coincide with Enoch's 70th generation and the arrival of the Nephilim on Earth according to Thomas Horn, and as some have pointed out, we could be amidst Daniel's 70th week, or according to pre-tribulationists, we could be entering Daniel's 70th week. Truly, this is a stunning convergence of the 70s.